Hello, I am Chris,
I'm Steve.
and this is Let's Talk Tabletop.
Yes, let's talk tabletop. And once again, we are talking about problem gamers.
There's a lot of them in the world.
There's a lot of them in the world, and we need to take them out. Not with a sniper rifle, but we need to not have them in groups. Alright, so last time we talked about someone whose codename was Trevor. This time we're going to talk about someone whose codename is Angus. Angus. So, I don't know how long you got to play with Angus.
I think that was like 3 sessions or so.
I'm thinking it's a lot longer, but like I told you before, you probably blocked out the memory because it was just so bad.
It wouldn't surprise me if I did.
Alright, so Angus is a guy that I had been playing with since I first started playing D&D. And this was back a year after I graduated from high school. Angus was part of the group. So, Angus is one of those people who thinks he is always right. All the time. You know those people? So they think they're right all the time. And they will defend their position about how right they think they are. So it always pays to have one of these, a smartphone. So you can just say, oh, you think you're right, huh? Okay, Google, Wikipedia, whatever, and go ahead and prove him wrong. So Angus was a person who thought that he was always right. And not only that, but he had a personality. Would you say that he had a personality?
Yeah.
He had a personality. So not only did he think that he was right all the time, he also thought that he was smarter than everyone else. So his thing is he would get up in your face very close and he would overpronounce his words very loudly and he would gesture with his hands a lot until the point where we got fed up with it and we finally kicked him out. Now, were you there when we had that intervention with him?
No, I was not. I think I had to work that night.
Okay, so we had an intervention with Chris, and this was before he got kicked out. I think that they had had an intervention with him once before I had moved back from my being in the military. But I was part of this second intervention, and we needed to nip Angus's attitude in the bud. So, the problem with Angus is that he was a long-time member of the group. When you have someone who's a long-time member of the group, they become, I'm not exactly going to say family, but you know, have you seen that movie, Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they say, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole. Alright, Chris was an asshole. Motherfucker.
That's on you, dude.
Okay.
That's on you.
His name was Chris. Not that Chris. A different Chris. Alright, anyways, Angus was our asshole that we eventually did not want to have to deal with. So, eventually we did have to boot him out. And it kind of fell upon me to have to do that. But that's neither here nor there. What would be your suggestion on how to deal with people like Angus?
Quite frankly, I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe pull them aside and say, if they're going by stuff from, the books of the game that you're running, for example, Game of Thrones, say that they're always pointing out, well, so-and-so was here at this time, he could have been here. Just pull them aside and say, dude, this is the way I'm running the game, it has nothing to do with the TV show. Or even the books, or the movies, or whatever. And same thing could go for games like Babylon 5 or Farscape.
When you have someone that knows the source material, they're going to defend it. They're going to defend that source material, especially if they're a really huge fan. And it becomes difficult for them to let go of what they know, let go of the source material, and go with what the GM wants to do. Because at the end of the day, the GM is always right. You might be able to put up a good argument, but if the GM wants something and the GM's going to do something, guess what? It's their game. The players are an interactive part of the game, but the GM is running it. And if you don't have a GM to run the game, you don't really have a game. So you got to you got to have some flex there. So Angus had a lot of personality flaws, and it's difficult to deal with someone that has personality flaws, especially when they rub you the wrong way. And Angus had a lot of them. The way they talk, the way they laugh, just the way they look. Sometimes it just gnaws at you, and it gets to the point where you just don't want to look at them anymore. You can't make eye contact with them because you just want to hit them so damn hard.
I know that all too well.
Alright, well, sometimes because people think that they're always right, like Angus did, he went ahead and he would cheat. He would cheat a lot, and he would cheat because he thought that no one would call him on it. And for the most part, if you're going to cheat in a game, you got to be smart about it. We talked about cheating last time with Trevor. So, if you're going to cheat, you have to know the rules. You have to know your way around it. You have to know the loopholes. Now, if you're playing with a bunch of really hardcore players that know the rule book in and out verbatim, then it's going to become practically impossible for you to cheat because someone's going to call you on it really quick. But Angus was able to get away with cheating for so long because no one would look up this stuff. They would never be able to call him on his BS until finally someone did. I did not play in the game that he got called out on during this one particular incident, but it was a modern type game with firearms and everything, regular type firearms, and his character got a hold of some kind of bolt action rifle. You know, bolt action, you have to pull back, you load in the next round, and there you go. Now you've got the next round loaded. He went ahead and he changed this firearm so that it was fully automatic, so that it would have a large removable magazine and was fully automatic.
And that cannot be done unless you actually modify the weapon itself inside and out.
You would have to heavily modify this weapon to the point where it wouldn't be worth getting this weapon. He wanted it because of its large damage output. He didn't like the fact that it was a single action, bolt. It was a bolt action rifle. He wanted to be able to hold lots of rounds and have semi-automatic or fully automatic fire. And so he went ahead and he just wrote this stuff down on his character sheet. It's this rifle does this much damage, it holds this much ammo, it has this rate of fire. And finally, he was, I guess they were playing, and he was using this rifle, and he was killing enemies left and right. Finally, someone said, how in the world do you have this rifle that does all this damage? And he says, oh, well, it's this kind of rifle. And so one of the rules-type lawyer people in the group said, all right, everyone stop. He pulled out the book, he flipped it over to the page where it listed that rifle, and he read the description of it, and he read the rules, and he said, this is a bolt-action rifle. It only holds, like, 5 rounds in an internal magazine, and it's bolt action. You can't modify it so that it can be semi or full. Angus went ahead and grabbed the rule book and held it up over his head, and he shouted, this is just a guideline. This doesn't matter. Because he got caught cheating. This was the personality of these type of people, this Angus type personality, which is very difficult to play with, especially, like I said, if they are a long-time member of the group. If they're a long-time member of the group, it's going to be difficult to get rid of someone, no matter how horrible a person or player they may be. So eventually, it got to the point where we got him to drop out, basically for monetary reasons. But this is a person that we had to deal with in the group for probably, I'm going to say, 12 years. 12 years. He had been in the group before I joined the group for the first time. So he had been in there even longer. This is when I joined up. So he could have been in this group for 15 years. So these type of people, the ones that latch on, and then are along for the ride as long as they possibly can, they are very difficult to deal with. And so interventions are necessary, and sometimes it is also necessary to kick them out. With this person, with Angus, he was more or less booted from the group. He was given an ultimatum that the group knew that he would not accept. He left and joined another group. And from what I hear, he is kind of on his last legs with them as well. And if he gets booted from that group, that will be the last group. There are no more groups in this area that will accept him in their game.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, yes. You don't want to be this type of person. Alright, so
no, definitely not.
have some good ideas, make a useful character, go with the flow. Did you hear about his rogue?
No.
He likes to play rogues. He plays rogues a lot. But the thing is, he doesn't really exactly know how to play a rogue. Now, when you think of a rogue, what do you think of?
When you think of a rogue, it's either the ones that hide in the shadows and backstab people shit tons, or if you're playing a honorable rogue, that would be along the lines of Robin Hood.
Alright, so rogue. When you think of rogue, you kind of think about along those lines. So a rogue is someone that is supposed to be able to hide in shadows. They have a high sneak score. You have someone that can pick pockets, and you have someone that can do sneak attack damage. So they can sneak around, find traps, unlock doors, and they can do sneak attack damage. Angus, when told that he needed to go and find a trap and disarm it or unlock a door, he would say, "I'm not that type of rogue." Yes, I am not that type of rogue. I'm not that type of rogue. And he would be really angry about it. I'm not that type of rogue.
I'm angry about it, and I played a rogue before.
So, I think he was supposed to be more diplomatic. A diplomatic type rogue.
What?
In a combat campaign. Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Now this is like with the Trevor discussion last time, where he was a tech specialist, and he's supposed to be making weapons and armor, and instead he's a defense lawyer with no knowledge of law. Angus would make a rogue that had pretty much no thieving skills. Oh, I'll do you one better. He has a bad habit of making characters that die, and die quickly and rapidly in great numbers. In one gaming session, in one 8-hour gaming session, he went through 7 different characters. He rolled up 7 different characters because he kept dying during a one game 8-hour period.
What the
He would do things. He would do things.
You would do stupid things!
Eventually, he made, I remember, he made a fighter that lasted for 3 game sessions. You know how he managed to last for 3 game sessions?
Hands on my head, you got me there.
He made a fighter that would run from any combat situation. Yeah, that's how he managed to have a character that survived for 3 game sessions. He would run every single time there was combat.
What is he, stupid? Yes, I can see now. He is.
Yes, alright, so, essentially, because we're running out of time, he made a fighter that would run from combat, because Angus would average 1 character death per game, just because he would do really stupid things. Now, let me show you one of the situations in which his character died. He made a lizard folk, just some humanoid reptile, and he chose the thief class, and he made him an assassin. Now, apparently, either through some racial thing or through some class thing, maybe something from one of those quintessential books or something, he had this ability that allowed him to get, I think, extra experience points for killing people.
What?
For committing assassinations.
What?
So, he wanted to get some more XP to level up, to catch up with the rest of the group, so he decided to go around and commit some assassinations. Now, let me tell you where he decided to commit these assassinations.
I already have a pretty good feeling I know.
He decided to commit these assassinations in the capital city of this country that we were in, right in front of the palace, right in front of the palace guards, in broad daylight. And so, yeah, in City Square, in front of the palace guards, in broad daylight, he decided to just start killing people.
I am ashamed to even know of this.
Yes.
Why?
Oh, and guess what? The paladin in our group was the nephew of the queen of this country. So, yeah. Anyways, his character was quickly captured and was put to death, and his possessions were distributed among the families of the people that he had killed. So, yes, this is the type of person you need to look out for in your gaming groups. Do not have these type of people. That's the kind of thing that someone who is 14 or 15 years old does because they don't know any better. This is not, a seasoned player's gameplay option.
What?
Yes. So anyways, do not have Angus's in your gaming group.
No, please don't, people. It would save a lot of headaches for everyone.
Well, anyways, I'm Steve.
I'm Chris.
And this has been Let's Talk Tabletop.
Have a good day.
See you next time.